Okay, activity two. Activity two I'm calling My Town. It's about local services and the reading and writing involved in dealing with local services. The aim of this project is to improve the students' reading and writing ability, increase awareness of local services, increase knowledge of entitlements, and increase independence, among other things. In this activity, the class will create a map of their locality. On the map, they will show where local services are and also indicate what reading and writing activities are associated with that service. By doing that, you're increasing awareness of where the services are, what reading is involved, and what writing tasks are involved in dealing with those services. And the assessment part of this activity then will be around reading signs, reading bills, reading instructions, reading a letter, writing a note, writing instructions, and maybe form filling. So generally it's around the reading and writing activities a person might typically encounter during their average day in any locality. When looking at this, I sat down with my class and we looked at where what places we might encounter reading and writing, and we listed those, and we listed the writing activity and the reading activity involved. So, for example, first place was the library, and we looked at the application to join the library, which has to be written, and the reading activities then filling out the application form and obviously reading books. The motor tax office, car taxation form, both reading and writing, post office, passport application, also get your dog license there, letters, doctor or chemist, reading a receipt, handing in a prescription, so the reading and signing your name and the writing there. Credit union, loan application form. School, a letter to the school, writing a letter to the school, and reading notes from school and school books. Department of Social Protection, the payment, reading a payment or reading notes out from the GSB or filling out forms, something which comes up quite a lot. Bank, change of address form, and letters that come out from the bank will require reading. Citizens information, reading information leaflets, maps, doing the budget, reading and writing involved there. Reading your street names in your town, giving directions, writing directions maybe, writing street addresses, and reading street signs and the various signs that you will see around any city or town or locality. So these are the things that during the coursework or the classwork phase of the activity that we did. On the whiteboard, we also did a map of the town, in this case, Clonmel. So we listed all the main street names around the centre of the town, and then numbered all the places where people would have dealings with. So in this case, the library, the motor tax office, the post office, the doctors, the credit union, the school, the toll office, the bank, the Citizens Information Centre, and the Garda station. So that's what our students came up with. Your own students might have other places that they want to add. And we did the map up on the board and then spoke about where there would be reading and writing activities involved in the locality. As with activity one, the coursework then included closed exercise, worksheets, word searches, all the things you would normally do with a student in the course of the class. Reading is the same, language experience, paired reading. Materials used, dictionaries, flashcards, laminated cards, and then specific to this activity, bills, forms, letters, Google Maps is also good to look at your locality for street names. Google Street View, if you can use it to actually look at the actual street rather than just look at it as a map. Information leaflets and brochures that might be specific to your locality. The activities that you can carry out then: go on a field trip, walk around your town, maybe bring a camera, take pictures, have guest speakers in. We've had people in from MABS, people from the library. And activities then can also include drawing your map, as we've seen, name your streets, name places, list forms that we've used, list reading tasks, and the assessment activity based on your locality. In this case, it doesn't have to be this, but we chose to do a day in the life of a fictional person called Mary. And this activity can be tailored to suit each individual student's learning needs. So some students might want to be able to write a note to their school. Some students might want to be able to read a letter from the Dole office. So depending on what your student's needs are, you can tailor the assessment activity to suit that student. Day in the life, Mary has to complete a number of tasks: find the number of some local services, read a letter from the school, apply for a loan, join the library, read a bill, write a note to the school, write directions, read an appointment letter, and read some street signs. So a pretty busy day there for Mary. In activity 1, we looked at the learning outcomes. For learning outcome 1, read familiar words that are commonly used and personally relevant. We asked Mary to make a list of local services and answer some questions on it. So just a quick look at that. Assessment brief number 8. Assessment guidelines. You're asked to read the page containing details of local services and find certain phone numbers. Enter those numbers into the space provided. So scroll down the page. The learning outcomes that are met by this activity listed on the assessment brief. So these are local services and the numbers associated with them. Copy this off a flyer that came around to houses recently from a local politician, which gives all the local services and their numbers, and then for the student fills in the blanks here. So they look at the service up here and they fill in the blanks here. So this is a reading activity. It's also a writing activity because they have to write in the number. So that's for learning outcome under reading. They also have to read a letter from school, an ESB bill, read an application form, a loan application, street signs, read a letter from hospital, and also, same here, read an ESB bill. So there are a number of assessment briefs there. All of those assessment briefs cover a number of learning outcomes. The important thing to remember is not to just limit an assessment brief to one learning outcome. If you can, cover a number of learning outcomes and also integrate assessments. So it means include a reading and writing activity in your assessment brief. We're going to look at the assessment briefs for writing for activity 2, My Town Local Services. It will include writing a note to school, writing out the application form with an application form for a loan and an application form to join the library. Learning outcome 2, the loan application. This includes for learning outcome 2, you have to write at least 5 sentences. So for this activity, it is a loan application and to write out why you want the loan. So that involves writing more than 5 sentences or more. And finally, learning outcome 4, with guidance, apply different formats and conventions to written documents. use a range of different forms of writing to suit purpose and audience. For example, instructions involving 3 steps. So in this case, we ask the student to write how to get from the library to the bank, which involves going through 2 streets. So they have to write the steps from going one place in the town to another. So that the assessment briefs for